everyone, and how are you today? I think we're up to day 4,682 of quarantine now. Yes, I'm being dramatic, don't you worry about that. So I've been redoing my whole house, as you've seen, getting things sorted. I've made this beautiful thing. During quarantine, I've been doing bits and bobs, and while doing up this room, I realized I need to extend this boho modern fabulousness in my room. So I've been admiring my chandelier for years. When I say admiring, I'm being sarcastic. I don't love it. Don't get me wrong. It does the job. It's nice, but I have been obsessed with these beautiful Moroccan chandeliers for years. I first saw them in Byron Bay and they were so beautiful, and in my research I've been looking and looking and looking, and I thought I could do that. So I've decided to make and weave a chandelier. I have no experience with weaving whatsoever, so I'm kind of going to do it freestyle and what I feel like this chandelier needs to be. I've seen so many different examples. The examples I have seen, ding, have been a variety of different things. So I've seen Balinese that have different canes coming down with weaved wrapped around it. I've seen plaited weaving. I've seen plaited weaving with like loops in it. So I'm going to take a variety of these beautiful examples I found and create my own version. Just to show you what we're working with, we've got this, which is also quite low, so sometimes when I'm dancing I keep my hands on it. I was thinking about this cone shape that will go really nicely and have this boho feel. This is currently what we're working with at the moment, so I want to extend this like little corner I have out a bit more, and there are going to be some future decorations happening here, so stay tuned for that. So what you need for this DIY is some rattan weave, some gold thread, of course a thimble, some wee snips. Now all of this will turn into this, a whole kettle of pleated rattan weave. Ooh. So let's start crafting. With your rattan weave, you want to grab 3 strands that will make each pleat. 1, 2, 3. So grabbing the base of the weave, then take the ends of the weave, make a little knot. You now repeat this process 3 times. Now getting these 3 pieces, you want to take a safety pin and put it through the knots. Like so. Then you want to attach it to somewhere strong. You begin to plait. And you continue plaiting to the end. Once you reach the end, you might have some leftovers here, but we can cut those later on. But you want to create another knot. So what I've done is I've taken those 2 and I'm just going to knot the ends together twice to create a secure knot. Voila! Piece 1. Repeat this process as many times as possible. I end up using all my bags of the rattan to achieve the desired look and amount that you wanted. Now grab your needles and threads and thimble. You want to thread up a needle with a double thread that allows you to have a thick amount to use. Getting your handy dandy thimble, please use a thimble, they will put holes in your fingers. You want to take the ends of your plaits and sew through each knot. Going back and forth to create a strong structure to hold the pieces together. I found going through each piece 4 times very beneficial. Once you've gone through that, what you want to do is take these 2 seams here and sew them together to create a bigger piece. Whip stitch is created by going in straight, which will leave the stitch straight at the front but cross at the back. So now that you've sewn these 2 pieces together, you want to kind of like fluff it out so it has more of a texture, detail, and becomes thicker. Now with these scraggly bits, you want to cut them off. And do not lose that piece. So now is the time you want to be able to put the pieces together. It's nice to find 2 pieces that could blend in well together. Find a place where they sit nicely together. Yeah. And then you want to start at one end. You want to sew in multiple places, catching each side of the fibers so they are strong and held together. Once you reach the end, which has all the knots from the original stitch, make sure you stitched on each knot so it's very durable and there's no risk of it coming undone. And also it will flatten the piece, making it a more of a smooth cut, even though it really doesn't need to be that smooth, because it's going to be a beautiful bohemian piece of artwork. And then once you've done that wrap around, go through the thread itself and do a secure knot. Keep going with this technique until you sew all of them together. So I've actually taken the chandelier off the light fixture because this is going to be my basis for the shape that it's going to be. It's not going to be circular, it will be a triangle, but because I am renting, I don't want to take this off. I don't know where to put it, so I'm going to kind of make it into the shape. So it's my intention to use this and go down like that and have a little bit down over it so it wraps around. It'll be taller than it is because I also want to hide the long stick, which is the light fixture. So that's all hidden because it's silver. I'm going for a gold wooden vibe in there. So I'm just going to play with it, see what happens, and let it be a natural process to create this, because I am creating with something that I've never done before, so it's fun to play around. So from the shape of it, I think that if I do the original size that the length was, stitch it there and then go up one and then gradually do the cone shape, I think there'll be a nice situation. What? We will be following the same process before by sewing the rattan together. We'll be weaving the rattan together again by using a whip stitch to create the bulk that we had before, but now on a bigger scale. Now that I've made a base that I think is a good height, I'm going to work on creating a cone shape. I'm going around thinking how to do it. So what my plan is to do is to use some pins and just pin it to see if I can get the shape going. So let's have a play with that. This whole process was trial and error. Sometimes the pins helped, sometimes they didn't. I found as you worked around, you could move the fabric together make it shorter, giving it the desired angle that we needed to get. As you can see here, I was desperate to see how the shape was going, so I pinned it further. It was a bit of an issue for me, but it was a really great understanding of how much rattan I needed and what shape it had to get. It's several hours of watching the nanny, and I finally finished what I had already pre-wove together. So this is what we have going at the moment. I really love it. It looks really cool. I could even wear it as a bonnet and be all Regency. But as you can see, it's not quite finished. So I really want to get to that point. And I kind of love that it is so higgledy-piggledy. It feels very natural, and I will like stretch it out a bit to get a bit more light seeping through, I feel, but I think it looks really fabulous. It feels very organic, it feels very natural, it feels handmade, and that's kind of the vibe I wanted to go for, because I wanted to make something very, very neutral. But just to give a little testaroo, let me roll over the light bulb. Hold on, let me show you guys. I think it looks really fabulous. It's so cool! And then we're gonna have little brr, 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 brr things down here. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. We're on day 2 of weaving away. I spent some nice hours to myself, belly laughing, watching the nanny. So I left it draped over the light overnight. Kind of want to take it a vibe, how I felt about it in the room, if it was the right thing, if I needed to redo something, and I like how it's going. So I'm going to keep going in the procession that I'm doing. So I've got a few more things to sew around on it to make it a little bit more pointed. I think I also might put another thick brim to make it a bit more wider and more, you know, triangle shaped. And then I'm going to start going through and doing knots at the end, so do the brrr. So this is currently how it looks. Yes, it's crooked, but we'll get to that later. But I do like the vibe of it. I think it needs to go up a little bit more here, and I think another layer around here, as I said, and then the brrr. But also with the light, it's kind of like a really like soft light, and I only use this in the evening because I like to have a kind of a chilled out vibe in here. I only use the light during the day with sewing. I'm feeling it, and if we do, ooh, a little turn here, it works with the room, which is really cool. Kind of looks like the Beaubaton hats from Harry Potter with the little, I love it, it's really organic. It's definitely not what I expected, but I do like it because it's really unusual, and I think it feels, as I said, very organic, very natural, and I think it'll be kind of cool in there. Just, you know, chill sort of witch's hat. So I did try wearing it as a hat, but it kind of failed. But yeah, I like it. It'd be very good for the summer. Maybe I should weave myself a hat, but then you can like, yeah, and then it's got this problem. But it works. Now, with all the leftover scraggly bits I've collected that just naturally happen, I'm going to use them and do little knots. So I'll do a close-up to make more sense. But that's my idea, and then I can trim it when it's on when we get it onto the chandelier. By creating this knot, I took one part of the plaited weave, and then I was able to grab some of the strands, weave it through, and then do a little knot. It's like a loop knot you would find, and then you just make it a bit tighter. Here I'm just splitting some of the wave part so it gets more of a texture. This is by far my favorite editing mode because it was so cool to watch it at playback. What do you guys think? It's done, it's hung up, I've given it a trim. Are you ready for the grand reveal? This beautiful woven rattan chandelier. I cannot be any happier than I am right now with the outcome of this. It's nothing what I expected. It's definitely unique. It's definitely me, and it brings a special warmth to the room. I'm going to have to keep redoing this whole living room to continue with this beautiful atmosphere I've created, and we'll keep flowing it that way. I think the wall should be painted next with a mud cloth textile print painted onto it. That'll be a lot of fun to do. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it, and if you could give it a thumbs up if you liked it, it really helps support my channel. Please subscribe as well, because during this confinement that we're in, I've been getting very inspired. I keep wanting to push and push and push what I'm making, and if you guys subscribe and like to this channel and to this video, I can really see what you guys enjoy with my content creating, and I can keep creating really unusual, fabulous things that are all about art and passion and culture and textiles and travel and everything that I absolutely adore. So until next time.